Welcome. Today is the feast of St. Charles Borromeo, Bishop of the Church, a man who was part of the ruling class and at the same time a man of great faith who brought about change in his church, in his diocese. And we read the Gospel of St. Luke. Great crowds were traveling with Jesus, and he turned and addressed them. If anyone comes to me without hating his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Which of you wishing to construct a tower does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if there's enough for its completion? Otherwise, after laying the foundation and finding himself unable to finish the work, the onlookers should laugh at him and say, "This one began to build but did not have the resources to finish." Or what king marching into battle would not first sit down and decide whether with 10,000 troops he can successfully oppose another king advancing upon him with 20,000 troops? But if not, while he is still far away, he will send a delegation to ask for peace terms. In the same way, every one of you who does not renounce all his possessions cannot be my disciples. The Gospel of the Lord. As I read today's Gospel, it's one of those that are so challenging. It's almost like an either-or situation. Either you go the whole way and do wonderful things, or you fail. And yet each of us is different. Each of us is created by God in a unique way, with our gifts, with our strengths, with our limitations. Each of us find ourselves in our creation in different environments. And what Jesus invites us to is to try to live as human beings, to get to know who we are with our limitations, with our strengths. But the difference in the context of being a believer is that I remember that they're all gifts, that ultimately I am who I am because of God's love, God's plan, and God's presence in my life. And that what I am challenged to do is to grow up, become mature, get to know who I am with my limitations and strengths, and to use them to the best of my ability. Jesus invites me to, in a sense, a partnership, but it's unequal compared to any other partnership. And what he asks me to do is to trust him, to do my best, but then to step back and to realize that he will bring the lasting results. Success cannot be the measure of my worth as a human being, but rather the effort, the sincerity, the commitment, the perseverance, especially when things don't go well. And there's the rub, as they say. We're trained differently. Our world, our culture says quite different things to us in a way. It's as if you do your best, you will be successful. There is nothing you can't do. There is nothing that you can't become. And yet, I don't know about you, but I find that's not quite true. I'm not dressed in white in the sense of wearing a cassock and living in Rome. I'm not the Pope. I'm not somebody that one would necessarily even notice. How do I measure my success? As the world does? And that's the temptation. I grew up thinking that if I do my best, that I'll be a self-made person. Isn't that the American dream? Self-reliant. And how do I arrive at that? With money, security, a job, perhaps, with power, becoming an officer or a president of a company. Is that it? Is that the criteria? And somewhere in the middle of those two extremes, all or nothing, is where God is. He wants me to be successful. He wants me to use what resources I have. And whatever money or power or prestige I arrive at is wonderful. But don't let it blind me. That's not the measure of success of God. Because as a member of the believing community, as church, I have to remember that I'm bound to every creation, especially every human being, by the presence of God. And the commandment of God is to love, to use what I have, whatever success or even failures that I arrive at, to use them in a context of faith, to try to share with others, to be present to them, to be forgiving, supportive, trying to heal other situations, and at the same time, trusting that the partnership I have with the Lord promises me that healing, that strengthening, that forgiveness that I experience so often in my journey. So am I a partner of Jesus in relationship? Yes. Is it equal? I really don't know. I have to find out when I get to the end of my life, which is where I kind of am, I guess. I look back and say, basically, I did okay in some things, but other things, oh my goodness, it's very embarrassing. How could I have been so stupid? As people say sometimes, wouldn't you like to go back and be 15, 25, 30, 40, whatever it may be? And I say, not really, because unless I learn and can bring back what I've learned, I'm going to make the same mistakes over and over again. Trust God will bring, even from my mistakes, success. Success in His terms, not mine. My relationship with God as a partnership, to do my best and to step back in faith and trust that God will bring the success that is necessary, and then live my life with confidence in His love and support. I hope that you continue to have a safe day, and we continue to pray for one another each day, that God will protect us, and that those who are less fortunate than we, those who are suffering from illness or restrictions, are given the support and presence of God through those people who love them. God bless.